analysis on that story. I'm joined now by our international affairs commentator, Douglas Herbert. Doug, this isn't the first time that a Taiwanese leader has transited in the US. Why is there such a fuss this time?
Why such a hue and cry? Look, you're absolutely right. Anytime you've heard U.S. and Taiwan in the same breath, it's always been a big deal for China. It's not like this is all of a sudden materialized overnight out of nowhere, this issue. We know that. What's different this time is China's posture, or the way it sees itself on the world stage. It is a newly assertive, a much more emboldened China, a China, when I say emboldened, under a paramount President Xi Jinping, who has now just got an unprecedented third term in office as president. He is a president who recently, called on the U.S. not to threaten, not to encircle or contain, or as he sees it, oppress China, i.e. do not try to block China's rise. So you can let's connect the dots here. Do not try to block China's rise. From China's perspective, the Taiwanese president making a stopover, and that's all it is. It's a stopover in the United States. She's on her way to and from, first to New York and then on her way back to California. The stopover, it is what is riling China here, because it's not just any stopover, right? It's a stopover in which there's a planned meeting between the U.S. House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, who would be the highest level official that she's met with since becoming president in 2016. He is second in line to the presidency, high-level Republican. And for China, that's sort of a fighting gesture, if you will. That's a very belligerent gesture. It amounts to, as the Chinese see it, the U.S., because it's on U.S. soil that this is happening. It's the U.S. doing the outreach. It's the U.S. providing this platform for Taiwan to exert its independence ambitions on U.S. soil through the agency of meeting with a very high-level U.S. member of Congress. Now, you're right that in the past, Tsai Ing-wen, the president, 6 previous occasions, she has passed in transit through the U.S. en route to other places. 6 since 2016. But it is creating a particular stir this time, given the context. And also, let's not forget the abysmal state of affairs between the U.S. and China right now. The U.S. having recently shot down an alleged Chinese spy balloon, Putin and Xi Jinping growing a little too cozily close for comfort in Putin's war against Ukraine for the U.S., and human rights and trade, always flashpoint issues now more than ever. All of this, along with Xi Jinping being this paramount, very powerful Chinese president, all coming together to add up to a potentially explosive equation, diplomatically speaking.
And so China, Washington, worried about this Taiwan visit, but the Taiwanese leader is actually going to Central America to visit allies. Why does that matter? Why is that important to Taiwan?
There's actually a whole other story here, right, that I haven't even talked. We've just been focusing on this U.S. stopover because of the incendiary aspects of it. This is a 10-day diplomatic mission, and who's she visiting? She will actually be paying diplomatic courtesy calls to Guatemala and Belize. Why Guatemala and Belize? Let me bring up a little map here. Taiwan diplomatic relations. I'm not being glib. Taiwan and the U.S. have an unofficial relationship, meaning the U.S. doesn't diplomatically recognize Taiwan. The U.S. officially adheres to China's so-called one China policy, under which China has sovereignty over Taiwan. That doesn't mean that if China were to attack Taiwan, the U.S. wouldn't be very interested. The U.S. has committed itself to giving Taiwan all the resources it would need to defend in the event of a Chinese attack. But this is where this map becomes important. So the U.S. isn't on this map of Taiwan's diplomatic relations because it doesn't officially recognize Taiwan. So who does? Look at some of these countries here. It's sort of a coalition of the smallest and least known, if you will. St. Kitts and Nevis, Tuvalu is on there, Eswatini. Not trying to be glib or condescending, but it does give you a sense. These are very small countries, in some cases island nations, and it gives you a sense. There's only 13 of them, right? Recently, Honduras severed ties in the past recent days with with Taiwan in order to go into China's orbit officially. And this could maybe happen, there's rumors, in the future with Paraguay. It gives you a sense of just how diplomatically dangerous it is for a lot of countries to openly recognize Taiwan, and the reason there are so few of them, as you can see here on this map. She's going there because she says she's going to the U.S. because she's not going to let anyone exert external pressure on her in pursuit of her diplomatic policies abroad.
OK, well, thanks for that, Doug. We'll leave it there. Doug Herbert, there, our international affairs editor.